Hey guys, I'm Eric Peterson and I'm a men's dating and relationship coach for skillofattraction.com. And today's attraction tips video is called The Secret to Keeping the Power. Now, for a big part of long-term relationships, it's all about the struggle for power between the two of you. In fact, it's the second stage in an LTR, the power struggle stage. Now, this stage comes after the honeymoon stage, usually somewhere in the neighborhood of roughly 3 to 6 months, but some say the honeymoon stage could last up to 2 years. Hence, one of the reasons you don't want to rush into a marriage, because after the excitement of a new love in your life, much of the intensity begins to die down a bit. Now, most people jump into commitment or marriage during the honeymoon stage. It feels like she could do no wrong, that it was meant to be, that she's your soulmate, and on and on. And that all may be true, but it certainly isn't going to be true every time. In fact, most of the time, it will not be true. Now, think about every new girlfriend you've ever had. Now, it often feels like she was the one, didn't it? And so I highly recommend that you guys watch my video, The Dangers of Soulmates. They'll really help you with that. So to wrap up my point about that, don't rush into marriage or a big commitment with a woman until you get to know her, the real her, because she often doesn't come out until you've been together for a while. And if she really likes you, she'll be showing you the very best version of herself, and at least until she believes that she has you. The funny thing is that we're designed to rush into making babies. When we click with a woman and she clicks with us, just all these chemicals and hormones are rushing through our bodies, pushing us to have sex. And those chemicals make us feel like we're in love, and that getting her pregnant and putting a ring on her finger is the best idea ever. But after the honeymoon stage comes the power struggle stage. Now, where most people get hitched or pregnant during the honeymoon stage, most people break up or get divorced during the power struggle stage. It's said that this stage could last for years and years. Some couples never actually get out of it. And during this stage, you argue, you fight, ultimately struggling to either get or retain the power in the relationship. She's dropping shit test after shit test, pushing your boundaries, being a little disrespectful here and there to see if you tolerate it. And it just goes on and on until she either loses complete attraction or you get to the point where you just throw your hands up in the air and say, screw this, I'm out of here. Now, of course, some relationships are going to be better than others. There will be less arguing. You'll have a more respectful woman or one who had a better upbringing, a better relationship with her dad. You'll have better communicators. I mean, you get what I'm trying to say here. My point being, as terrible as the power struggle stage sounds, it doesn't have to be terrible. It largely rests on what kind of a woman she is and how strong your frame is. In fact, if you have a weak frame, once the stage begins, she's going to be walking all over you. Slowly at first, but once she senses that she could get away with it, it's pretty much all over. It's a done deal. And it's difficult to get your frame back once you've lost it. Now, I'm not saying it's impossible, but it is really difficult. And this is why you want to establish a strong frame from the get-go. A big part of having a strong frame is the power that you hold in the relationship. So in this attraction tips video, I'm going to be discussing why it's so important for you as the man to maintain the power throughout the relationship and the big secret in keeping that power. I mean, and if you could do this, you'll notice how much easier and effortless your relationships will be. But if you guys need my personal help and you're interested in some private coaching, please head over to my website at skillofattraction.com. Click on the coaching tab, and there you'll see that I have several options for you to choose from. My coaching options include several phone coaching packages for my North American clients and several Zoom coaching packages for my clients outside North America. And I'll post the links to both my contact page and my coaching page in the description down below. Also, be sure to check out my new merch, which can be found directly below this video if you're on a desktop or laptop, or tap on the stores tab or the store tab on my channel. I'm not sure why YouTube is suddenly not showing the merch under under the videos on mobile, but it is what it is. And actually, I'm wearing another one of my shirts today. I don't know if you guys could see this. The cocky as fuck. And now this one has no, it doesn't say skill of attraction on it or anything. For some of you guys that told me that you would be embarrassed to wear a shirt that says skill of attraction, which I get to some degree, but this one doesn't have any of it, and it's kind of funny. And also be sure to let me know if you have any requests for other merch. I mean, there's just t-shirts for right now, but I plan to add other kinds of merch soon. So just let me know. Now, as I mentioned, the power struggle stage can be difficult, but it'll be much easier, not just for you, but both of you, if you keep the power throughout the relationship. Now, of course, women will never admit to this. They may not even realize it consciously, but they want their man to be the one holding the power. Holding the power doesn't mean that she's your servant or slave, that whatever you say goes. It simply means that you're playing the more dominant role, the leader of the relationship. And just to be clear, because a lot of you guys get this wrong, don't confuse being dominant with being domineering. All women love dominant men, but most do not like domineering men. And in a nutshell, it's the difference between leading and being controlling. So overall, that's the goal, to establish your frame and retain the power. If you do this, you'll be happier and your girl will be happier and much more in love with you. This is why some of those big Hollywood actors can't hold a woman. It's their lack of frame. These men have the looks, the status, the money, the social proof, but unless they have a strong frame, they won't be able to keep a woman long term. And that's how important frame really is. I made a video a few years ago called How the Power Flips, where I touch on this topic. It's one of my more popular ones. So I recommend that you watch it so you have a better, deeper understanding of this. But in it, I talk about exactly that, how the power flips to her favor in the relationship. And this happens in just about every relationship. Men tell me all the time, well, when we first got together, it was amazing. She was so into me, calling her, texting me all the time. She couldn't keep her hands off of me. Then all of a sudden it changed. Now he's the one chasing her, and she's treating him like a low priority. Then eventually the girl breaks up with him, or even worse, she ends up cheating on him. So what happened there? Well, I discussed that in that video. The man became relationship focused. In that particular email I was reading, answering one of my viewers, he was really beginning to fall for her, and he decided that he wanted to make her his girlfriend, and he told her that. And what happened? The power flipped. He handed all his power over to her, and like a woman who is not quite there yet does, she more or less just dangled the idea of a relationship over his head, which had him jumping through hoops to prove himself. And guess what happened after that? She began losing interest and started thinking about her ex and toyed with the idea of getting back together with him. She told him this. And I don't remember the whole story, but I'm sure her ex was the one guy that she couldn't lock down into a relationship with her. He was the so-called alpha, and her current guy, the man who I was coaching, turned into the beta. And how did he become the beta? By giving away all of his power. Now there was no mystery. She knew exactly where she stood with him. There was no more challenge for her. She could have had him whenever she wants. She no longer had to earn his heart because he was handing it to her on a silver platter. She was calling the shots, and he was seeking her approval. And she became the dominant one. She became the leader. So what can a man who is in this position do? Or better yet, make sure that he never ends up in that position to begin with? Well, for one thing, you must stop being relationship focused. That's feminine energy. Now, that doesn't mean that you cannot want a relationship with a girl, only that you're not so focused on that. You can't be trying to lock her down. That's her job to lock you down. Now, you've probably heard me say it before, and let her start hinting or asking for a relationship before you even talk about it. Not only does this raise your value, but it also gives her the impression that you're not easily won over and that you must be earned. It gives you a much higher price tag, and psychologically, it makes you the cream of the crop. You also want to develop a mindset of outcome independence. This simply means that you don't get attached to any particular outcomes with a woman. Being attached to outcomes is actually the source of many of your issues within a relationship, or even with life in general. Of course, you're going to want particular outcomes, but getting attached to those could cause you to fall into a weak frame. Because if you don't get what you thought you were going to get from her, there's a good chance that you're going to get angry, get butthurt, turn passive aggressive, or even become very needy. Of course, any of those is giving away all your power. So you want to lead the relationship in the direction that you would like it without getting attached to whatever outcome you're hoping for. And develop the attitude of, whatever happens, happens. I'm cool with it, wherever it leads. Now, and if it doesn't work out the way you're hoping, you're not going to lose composure. You're not going to be any less happy or lose confidence. It is what it is. And if it's something that you cannot accept, then you move on to the next girl. Also, and we've touched on this before too, you want to build a life of abundance. This will really help with your outcome independence, because when you have abundance in your life, your happiness and confidence isn't relying on what a woman does or doesn't do. To many people, both men and women, they lean on their partner for happiness. And when it doesn't go your way or their way, they're no longer happy. And when you're no longer happy, or you lose your confidence, you're no longer that fun, happy, attractive guy that she fell for. And finally, you can't fear losing her. One of my earliest videos was on this topic. And even when I tell this to men, they find it very confusing. You know, what? Why wouldn't I fear losing the woman I love? And I get that. You love her and you don't want to lose her. But there's a difference between not wanting to lose her and fearing that you will lose her. When you fear losing her, you tolerate so much more of her BS than you should. Essentially, you put her happiness first and give her all the power. You become fearful when she's mad or you feel like she's losing interest, and you just begin scrambling for her approval with apologies, complying with her demands, pedestalizing her, and allowing disrespect. Basically, you give up your frame. And this is one of the reasons I always say that you must see yourself as the prize. So if you want to keep the power, and it's a necessity that you do if you want to maintain her attraction and respect, you must internalize all that I mentioned here. Don't become relationship focused. Work on achieving a mindset of outcome independence. Build a life of abundance, and ultimately see yourself as the prize so you don't fear losing her. And remember, women are not attracted to men who they can control. Now, combine what I said here along with my last video about harnessing the jerk's energy, and you should be in good shape. Just don't forget that you must also do all this along with making her feel loved and special. Being a dominant hard ass alone isn't enough to keep her. In fact, that alone will eventually drive her away. So, if you found this video helpful, or any of my videos helpful, I would really appreciate it if you gave it a thumbs up and for you to share it with any of your friends and family. And I'd also really appreciate it if you hit the subscribe button down below and tick that little bell symbol next to it so you get real-time notifications of when I upload new videos. And in the description down below, not only will I have a link to both my contact page and my coaching page, but I also have numerous offers or links to attraction-related programs that may really interest you. But I also have a link to PayPal or my Bitcoin wallet address if you deem this video worthy of a donation. So that's it for this video. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Have a good one. Bye-bye.